Okay, a little information on this Mustang. Show you what we got, a little over. Wheels all set up for NASCAR spindles. All the suspension is NASCAR everything. IMSA, SCCA certified. Well, not certified, but built to their specifications. All your brakes are big 6-puck Bembros. Tires has an air conditioning compressor on it. It is set up for air conditioning. Power steering pump, rack and pinion, power rack and pinion, alternator. This is the 427 all aluminum motor. It never has been fired. Just came back from the engine builders, was fully and then installed. This is looking down on the driver's side, front suspension. Everything's done in braided steel properly. Trying to get you some pictures here so you can see everything. You can see everything is brand new. Everything has been safety wired. This car was not shortchanged in any manner. Just kind of rotate around here so you can see the engine a little bit. Blockwise, down low. Coming up on your mid-motor plate. I know we flipped over there, but we're kind of upside down right now. That's your mid-motor plate going back to the transmission. Coming back around up by the engine, valve cover. You got twin hydraulic master cylinders with a remote master tank. This engine is set up so it can be carbureted, throttle bodied, or fuel injected. The body has been stretched wide to make a wide body to fit the big tires. And here again, the wheels and tires and the NASCAR suspension. You can see on this back flat how it's been stretched out a little bit. Looking in the back window, you can see all the roll cage is in. Like I say, this was done so not only could it be raced on these tracks on track day, but it could also be driven on the street. Most of the sheet metal, I think all the sheet metal is here. The wiring has not been done. You can see where it's laying in the floor. Tunnel, everything's formed. Now, over here is the struts and shocks suspension. You've got about $12,000 worth of air shocks and struts there. Steering column, you can see the fuse panel is in place. Over on the far side, you can see where the air conditioning unit has been installed, along with some of the electronic ignition components. I'll get you out on the other side in just a minute. Console is made. It is set up so it can be paddle shifted. Around to the back. Fuel cell. Give you a little shot here on the rear end equipment. Like I say, nothing was cut short on the manufacturing of this car. This was going to be his car, and they wanted the top of the line, everything put on it. This is a air pump for the air suspension equipment. Drop down here so you can catch the passenger side a little bit. This is a full floater rear end. Does not have the axles in it, does not have a center section. Coming back, I'm going to give you a little picture of the whole back end. We're just going to call it the Black Bastard. or black ass, whichever one makes you feel better. Coming back in on the passenger side, so we can get a little crossover shots here. Looking into the dash. MSD soft touch. Part of your control equipment there. Air conditioning unit is right here. Overhead, we have the front bar, windshield front brace, halo bar going over your head. On the back, X bars going down, and the loop coming around the whole backside to tie everything back in. Like I say, most of the sheet metal, if not all the sheet metal, is here. Tillotson Superstarter. And this has a lot of things that if they wanted to, that's a vacuum scavenging pump for the motor. So it could be changed over to different setups, quite easily. Big 4-flue radiator, torsion bar down here for the front suspension. Everything is nicely heim jointed. This is the coming around here for the brakes on the passenger side. Back over toward the rack and pinion. Back up here a little bit. This is the fuel lines coming from the tank and return. So it's set up for a low pressure and or a high pressure system. You can see this stuff full. Square tube chassis. And all the work, all the wells. Excellent. Air MSD coil. CV vent regulators for the vacuum system on both sides. That's the temperature sensor over there on the radiator for the radiator. Silicone hoses. What's not aluminum tubing is silicone hose or braided steel. Body is steel. Now it's got a lower valance on here. I'm not particularly happy with the way they did that. I would go to a different style, but dressed up it looks pretty good. Now the hood is sitting right there, and there is a room full of parts that goes with this puppy. I'm going to see if I can get in. Here's a little more view of the shocks themselves. Air ride Firestone bags, double adjustable shocks. Now what's on there now is the traveling bars that were put in so that the car could be transported without any pressure being put on the pads themselves. I mean, they've done an excellent job in preparing everything, just as you would expect from a NASCAR team. This fella owned a NASCAR team. Coming down on the passenger side, and let's see if we can get some pictures up here Here's the transmission. Underneath you can see the suspension for the fuel lines going back. Cross brace. You get everything is nice. Just absolutely beautiful workmanship from one end to the other. Tires, everything brand new. Proper lugs, proper lug nuts. There's so much to this car that you can't see that it's just impressive. This is the battery box right here. It's right there by the rear end. And it has the floater forward rear end NASCAR series again. There are no axles for the rear end. So you'd have to have the axles and the center section. But those can be picked up relatively inexpensive. You can see it's got the NASCAR studs, big lug nuts. Everything sits perfect, good solid, good stance, low profile. The car as it stands right now is about 6.5 to 7 inches off the ground. With the air shocks on it, it can be sucked all the way down, just wherever you wanted to have it. Roof line, you can see this is black. I ain't gonna lie to you how perfect these panels are. Down the roof edge, it's got needs a little cleanup right here, just where the body line was put together. A little skimming there. The panels themselves on the back, where they were widened, absolutely beautiful. Everything is straight on back. And down the side panels. And you know, black is as hard as it gets. It doesn't tell you a lie. You can see how these front fenders were widened and then relieved to let the air out of them for high speed running and cornering. And this was built to be a 200 plus mile an hour car. If you wanted to have a car in your stable that was built without a budget, now at the auction they said that he had spent nearly $500,000 in getting all the parts pieces together to assemble this thing. The engineering and everything on the chassis and all the time work that was involved in it. At the time of the auction, the motor was not in the car. It was still at the engine builders. The car brought $49,750 at auction. So I don't have to give you any BS on it. They paid $95,000 for the motor. The motor was paid for, so it was still at them engine builders. When the auction was over, they sent the motor down, paid the freight, and the mechanic that was working on the car installed the motor and transmission. So no corners have been cut. An additional $25,000 was spent on the car after the auction in parts, pieces, labor, everything to get the car in a good trim. See if I want to dim my flashlight again. So, you know, you get some idea of what we're talking about. This is not your standard, somebody built this in their garage vehicle. This is a very, very nice piece. Has the hood. Hood is in excellent shape. Front end, assembly, the way it's tied together on the front with a crossbar in there. Everything's mounted impeccable. So I'm just gonna make a quick walk over here into another room where we've got some of the pieces that go with this puppy. Okay, what have we got? We got tanks, trans coolers, wiring, belt housings, stainless steel exhaust systems for twin turbochargers. Our twin turbocharger comes with the car. Stainless steel mufflers set up for the dump valves. Some more of the pieces that go with it. Over in here, books, manuals, everything about the car that we could find. More of the dash stuff, panels, wheel tubs. You can see, I would say, if not all of the material is here, 98% of it is. Now this is a empty transmission housing that was set up just so they could put a manual transmission if they wanted to. There's your window regulators down there on the floor. Set of Recaro bucket seats. Very, very nice seats, covered in plastic, and these are new seats. Other than some test fitting in the car, they are in perfect shape. So we can get a little focus on that. There we go. This is the nameplate on the bottom of the seats. Adjuster rails, slide adjusters are on it. You know, there's just boxes and boxes and parts and parts and parts and parts and pieces. Paddle shifters, 2 fuel injection systems, the turbochargers, all that's brand new. Paddle shifter, race pack dash. Like I said, this is just an overview so you can get some idea of what we're talking about. This car completed $250,000. It is that quality. And at $250,000, they'll be spending about 50 cents on the dollar. You know, interested in it? Give me a call. Don't have anything to hide, and I ain't going to hide nothing. Because I want you to know exactly what we're talking about, so you can see exactly what you're getting. We picked up absolutely everything that looked like it belonged to the car. Well, looks like we even picked up a few of the tools in there. So, some air ducting over there. That's the other wheel well opening. Like I say, just piles of stuff. Everything goes with it. If somebody wants it broke down, less motor, transmission parts and pieces, they want just a rolling chassis, I'll price it that way. However anybody wants to buy it, I'll price it to them. Let me know what you think, Rick. Thanks, sir.